Ever wondered what that little hole at the top of your sink is for? There can be 1, 2, or 3 of them, depending on the design. These holes may appear under the near rim facing the mirror. They may face forward if they're between the faucet valves. The holes are there to prevent an overflow and to allow air in the drain to circulate. If the hole wasn't there, a basin filled with water would drain slowly because of the resistance it puts on the air going out of the drain. Your bathtub also has this hole, but the kitchen sink doesn't. A bathtub takes longer to fill, so you may get distracted, walk away, and forget you're filling the tub, so it's kind of more necessary there. The kitchen sink has overflow protection in the shape of the divider between the 2 standard basins, and this divisor rises lower than the rim. The majority of hiking backpacks have a secret feature that can literally save your life. If you have one, take a closer look at its chest strap. You'll see there's a built-in whistle on its buckle. It's for situations where you're all alone, stuck somewhere while hiking, or you were in a group but eventually separated from them. Uh-oh. Not all backpacks have a whistle, but those modern ones, designed specifically for mountain biking, hiking, snowboarding, skiing, and other similar outdoor activities do. Now, speaking of backpacks, many brands have standard models that come with a patch sewn into the outer part in the shape of a diamond. We call this the lash tab, or as some say, pig snouts. Originally, the manufacturers came up with this feature so people could carry an ice axe during mountaineering. They made it from leather because they wanted to reduce the possibility of freezing. Of course, the average backpacker doesn't go on such adventures, but the patch is still useful because you can hold and immediately access some items like headphones or a bottle of water, or tie your hiking shoes and some other essential things so you have more room inside your backpack. So, why do shopping carts have a grid system instead of being solid? There could be a couple of reasons for that. Manufacturers use less metal, so a cart is both lighter and cheaper. Also, the supermarket staff can see what's in your cart more easily. It's easier to keep the cart clean this way, too. Imagine if it was sealed and somebody spilled orange juice or milk inside of it. It's easier for a cart to drain this way if it's outside in the rain. Speaking of holes, why do you think laundry baskets often have holes? It's for the laundry inside to breathe. If you use it for dirty laundry, it's harder to vent the sealed basket and prevent your laundry from mildewing. Also, baskets without vents harbor way more static electricity. Have you noticed there's a funky little loop on your ski glove? Yup, the one on the finger. These gloves are specifically made for snowboarding, skiing, or some other alpine uses. Because of the loops on the finger, you can hang your gloves on the pack using a carabiner. Face their opening down, and gloves won't fill with any debris or snow while you're hiking or participating in some other winter activities, like falling and rolling down the hill, like what I tend to do. Now, even if you're not a professional alpine climber or something like that, it can still be good for you to use so-called carabiner clasps. With them, you can dry the gloves with the fingers upward. That way, if there's any condensation, it won't pull in the fingers but roll out the bottom. You know those silica gel packets that come with new bags, shoes, and many other products? Think twice before you throw them away. You might want to keep them because they preserve the freshness of your shoes or some other product you got them with. These bags are like a drying agent since they drive the moisture out of their surroundings. You can use them for other things, like, for instance, when you need to dry out your phone or something else that got water in the wrong place. Now, when dealing with a stapler, you can accidentally staple pages you didn't really want to put together. It's not easy to remove them unless you use a simple trick. Pay attention to the front part of your stapler. See that metal plate over there? It's called the anvil. Turn your stapler upside down. This way, you can spin the wheel to the temporary staple option, so it won't be so hard to remove the pins. Yup, the anvil is there, so you can adjust the settings for the stapler. Now, we're so used to toothpaste being multicolored that we mostly don't even wonder why it's so. Well, back in the 1970s, people became more aware of how important dental hygiene is. They wanted their toothpaste to do more than simply clean their teeth. That's why Aquafresh was the first company that came up with a toothpaste that had ingredients for mouthwash too, which is the blue stripe. Later on, they added red, which represents ingredients that help you take care of your gums. Aluminum foil boxes have a feature we can truly call hidden. It's not like anyone bothers to take a close look at the side of the box, right? There are rounded perforations you can punch through with your fingers. Just press your finger into the resulting hole and hold it. That's how you secure the cardboard roll while pulling out a foil. Beanie pom-poms look like a cute, or ugly if you're not a fan, ball on the top of your hat. It may not have a specific purpose today, but it hasn't always been a fashion detail. One of the possible explanations says that beanies are something the Vikings invented because they were looking for a way to keep their ears warm throughout the long cold winters. After some time, they added pom-poms at the top too. They were supposed to prevent the seams from coming apart. Now, I'm guessing the traditional horns were added sometime after that. You can find a tomato pin cushion for pins and needles in many households. But check this strawberry dangling from the top. It's kind of weird considering this fruit doesn't grow on tomatoes. But in this context, strawberries are there for needles you're using at the moment so you don't get lost while searching through a bunch of other needles on a cushion. Take a look at the cap on top of your toothpaste tube or a cream. This pointed cone you see inside the cap is helpful when you're opening a new tube because you can use it to puncture the seal. Yup, no need to look for something sharp or use your nails. Is there a pattern of blue and white bristles on your toothbrush? Sure, it looks a bit more stylish like this, but this feature has an actual purpose. Manufacturers designed the blue dye to wear off. This mostly happens at the same time when you're supposed to be getting a new toothbrush. They recommend doing it every 3 to 4 months, but in case you forget, it can be a handy reminder. Many cars have black dots along the window edges. It's a cool design, true, but car manufacturers probably wouldn't spend so much of their money and time adding something that didn't have a practical use. These dots are something we call Fritz, which are different than Fritz, the German guy. When the temperature in your car reaches extreme fluctuations, the Fritz are there to make sure the rim of the glass doesn't shatter. Good idea. Gas cans have a very small second hole. It's there to prevent some sort of the glug that occurs when air gets sucked into the hole as you pour the liquid out of it. Because when something like this happens, the flow of liquid is not even, which means more of it will end up all over the floor. The hole is also there to help vent the gas and prevent the can from bursting in between uses, and that's a good idea too.
Supermarket shopping carts usually look simple, but they hide tons of secrets. They often shake when moving and sometimes even make loud clinking noises. But that's not because they're old or of bad quality. This is a psychological trick. The faster you walk, the louder the noise the cart makes. Trying to produce as little noise as you can, you start walking more slowly. And, of course, you can't but pay attention to all that yummy stuff on the shelves. And if some of it ends up in your cart, well, you can't blame yourself, right? Another trick supermarkets use to make you buy more is the size of carts. They're usually extra large, and you'll subconsciously take more products to fill all that space. Now, have you ever noticed that shopping cart wheels often wobble? Even worse, there's almost always that one wobbly wheel that makes it impossible to steer the cart, and you have to go back to switch it. Shopping carts have caster wheels. Those are mounted on the bottom of large objects so that you can move them around more easily. But over time, casters develop flutter. It causes the wheel to swivel back and forth. This is kinda inconvenient since such flutter can make your cart move in an unwanted direction. Interestingly, flutters are less likely to occur when you're moving slowly. So, can it be that supermarkets don't repair fluttering wheels because they want customers to move around at a more leisurely pace? Just a thought. The black lines on the basketball make it easier to use. They're actually grooves helping you to handle the ball. And since players need to move around the court while bouncing the ball, control is crucial. Those pebbled dots that cover the outside of the ball serve the same purpose. Do you have an eye for detail? Then you might have noticed a strange-looking notch at the bottom of some plastic bottles. It's called a deco lug, and it helps to indicate the placement of a bottle sticker or some artwork. Without it, stickers on mass-produced plastic bottles won't look as pretty and symmetrical as they usually do. Most plastic coffee cup lids have a tiny hole in them. When you take a sip from a cup closed with a lid, the air pressure inside the cup drops. And some air from the outside tries to push into the cup. The tiny hole in the lid allows the air to enter. It also helps the liquid go out of the main, bigger hole more smoothly. Plus, the smaller hole acts as an exit for steam gathering inside the cup, which prevents the lid from melting. Those of you who have a ceiling fan, do you know it can move in more than one direction? One mode is for the summer, the other for the winter. When the weather is hot, ceiling fans should move counterclockwise. This makes them pull the warm air up and push the cold air down. And the clockwise winter mode pushes the warm air down and helps the cool air rise. Do you still use a knife to remove strawberry stems? But this way, you throw away a lot of the stuff you could otherwise eat. Instead of a knife, try a regular drinking straw. Insert one end of the straw into the bottom of the strawberry and push it gently all the way through. The straw will pop the stem out. A little groove on the bottom of a cup lets cool air get underneath it, which saves the glass or ceramics from cracking when a scorching beverage heats it up. And when you place cups upside down in the dishwasher, the groove stops water from gathering in the cup's bottoms. A button on the back of a collar of a button-down shirt is there to prevent your tie from sticking out. And the small loop on the back can be used to hang the shirt without wrinkling it. Barcode readers scan not black, but white lines. The reader emits rays of light that fall on the product's barcode. When it happens, the white areas reflect this light, while the dark zones absorb it. The reflected light helps the device to read the code and give you some information about the product. White is the most popular color for painting aircraft. It reflects sunlight most effectively, and planes don't heat up too much. All kinds of cracks or dents are much more visible on the white background. It means issues can be spotted and repaired as fast as possible. And finally, it costs less to buy white-colored airplanes because it's the color they have at birth. Some keyboards come with little legs. Thanks to them, you can tilt your keyboard and see which keys you're hitting. But keep in mind that a flat keyboard doesn't make your wrist so tired. And if you can touch type, you don't need to look at the keyboard anyway. Let's say you're driving on a highway. When it's time to make an exit, pay attention to highway signs. If the sign for your destination is on the left, your exit will be on the left too, and vice versa. You might have noticed that the sides of some cotton pads have different textures. One surface is firmer and more absorbent. It's supposed to be used with nail polish remover. The other side is way finer and softer. You can use it to remove makeup. You often see that cups on small tubes are hollow on top with a little spike inside. The purpose of this spike is to break the foil sticker sealing the tube. The neck of the tube fits right in the hole and the spike breaks the seal. No need to struggle trying to tear the tiny foil seal off with your fingers or even your teeth. The hole near the rim of your bathroom sink is there to prevent overflows. Thanks to it, all excess water goes into the siphon. Plus, it helps your sink drain faster. The hole gives air gathered in the siphon room to escape. Let's say you're reading a paper book, but when you decide to take a break, you realize you don't have a bookmark. Is leaving a dog ear your only choice? Nope, that's what the dust jacket is for. Turns out, providing you with the information about the book and its author isn't its only purpose. Most kitchen shears have metal plier-like teeth in the middle, between the handle grips. They can help you crack nuts, crab shells, and other tough products. You can also open jars and bottles or remove herb stems with their help. The bubbles in your soda push the straw up, but you can keep it from rising by pushing it through the hole in the metal pull ring. The correct way to break off a piece of Toblerone chocolate bar is by pushing the pointy side inwards, towards the rest of the bar. Bottles have long necks so that your drink stays cool longer. Hold the neck, not the bottle itself, and your drink won't warm up. Place a wooden spoon across the top of a pot with pasta. It'll prevent the bubbles from escaping. Once they touch the spoon's water-repelling surface, they'll immediately retreat back into the pot. If you turn over a Tupperware container, you'll see lots of symbols. They'll inform you whether the container is dishwasher, microwave, or freezer safe. You're also likely to find out how you should recycle the thing. The black grate on microwaves is called a Faraday shield. It keeps the electromagnetic energy inside the device. The grate also speeds up the heating process, and it can block phone signals too. If you don't remember which side of your car the gas tank is on, check the fuel gauge on the dashboard. There must be a little gas pump with an arrow pointing to the left or right. It indicates the side you should choose before pulling up towards the pump.